what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy it. J.D. Piquel on his show on 3 ranked his top 10 quarterbacks in 2024. And now he did his list as kind of where he thinks by the end of the year we will think about these guys, Jake. I want to see if you agree or disagree. At number 10, he has Garrett Nussmeier. Number 9, Will Howard. Number 8, Nico Iamaleava. Iamaleava. 7, Cam Ward.
We're already putting him in that top 10.
6, Shadur Sanders. 5, Jalen Milroe. 4, Dylan Gabriel. 3, Jackson Dart. 2, Quinn Ewers. 1, Carson Beck. And if you look at the document, it's got his list, Aaron Murray's list, and my own list. What immediately jumps out to you? Nico?
Yeah, just
at 8?
Yeah.
Does Nuss jump out at 10 then?
It's just hard to put a quarterback that doesn't have at least a season under his belt into that list. Now, he can play his way, and the talent is certainly there. But, without seeing a full season, the totality of what they can do, yeah, it's hard for me to put him in any kind of top 10.
That's interesting because that was kind of the exact same place that Aaron started with his logic. Also, how do you feel about Will Howard on this list?
No.
I don't think so either.
I think Will Howard's a good quarterback, but I think Avery Johnson at Kansas State might have actually played above him this year if he stayed in Manhattan.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Avery Johnson looked really exciting in that bowl game. We mentioned NC State being hot. They go 9-3 regular season. Why didn't they get 10 wins? Because of Avery Johnson and those 2 big guards that they had.
I would go...
No Brady Cook on this list. A bit interesting.
That is.
Even though I looked at Brady Cook's stats yesterday, and they weren't quite as good as I thought they were going to be. They were really good, but if he's going to be top 10, he's going to need to take a statistical step forward.
Over a guy like Nico who hasn't played yet.
Unless you believe that Heupel's system is going to be much more conducive to producing not only stats, but also but that's also going to matter on who wins more. Remember yesterday, ESPN's FPI having Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Mizzou all with 37% chances of making the playoff.
So on your list, you went Jackson Dart too?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think it's his 3rd year under Lane. I think he has a much better offensive line than he's ever had. He should have more run support. Already, statistically, he's above nearly everybody else on this list. And yeah, I mean, look at the leap from year 1 to year 2. I think Jackson Dart's going to be a legitimate Heisman candidate next year. I got Cam Ward at 10, Cam Rising at 9, Brady Cook 8, Noah Fafita 7, Shadur Sanders 6, Jalen Milroe 5, Dylan Gabriel 4, Ewers 3, Dart 2, Beck 1. It's a pretty sexy list if you ask me.
I would go Jackson Dart 10.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I would go Jaylen Daniels at Kansas 9.
Love that. I do love that. Jalen I would have no problem bumping off Cam Ward and putting Jaylen Daniels.
He'd
have to stay healthy though.
I'd probably go Cam Ward 7. Noah Fafita 6, Jalen Milroe 5, Cam Rising 4.
Cam Rising 4.
I think I missed one actually.
Cam Rising 4 is strong, bro. Come on, dude. Come on. Why?
Okay, this is my list.
I know, but I want your list.
I think I actually missed one.
Dumb.
So let's go Jackson Dart.
Okay.
Jaylen Daniels, Cam Ward, Noah Fafita, Jalen Milroe, Cam Rising, Shadur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Quinn Ewers, Carson Beck.
So here's the deal. Why are we all putting Quinn Ewers second when you look at his numbers and he was below all of these guys statistically last year?
I mean, I'm not stat watching. I mean, if I was stat watching, you go with an air raid offense and you go with the most yards.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
stats play a portion of it.
Not just about numbers, yeah.
Quinn Ewers, I think.
And he had some real stinkers last year.
I think he played at a really high level last year, and I think he's going to only continue to get better.
I think Carson Beck is the clear one. If you look at what he did first year starting last year to put up the numbers that he did, 9.5 yards per attempt, 24 touchdowns to 6 picks. You figure that to get to 30s, 72% completion, nearly 4,000 yards. Beck is the outlier here. in terms of who is it now. Now, funnily enough, Jalen Milroe slightly more efficient from a pure QB rating standpoint. But yeah, I think Beck's the clear one. I think having Dart at 10 feels a little disrespectful, given that only. I mean, I could see him being like lower than 2, obviously, because again, last year I do feel like Gabriel, Beck, and Fafita had better years, and arguably Milroe. But
I think having Cam Rising at 9 is the same situation. Like, I like Rising, you like Dart. That's really where our list. That's the only difference really that we have. Everybody else is kind of in the same position for the most part, or at least in the same range. I think Cam Rising is the key to all things Utah and what they're going to be able to do this year. Look at who they were last year without him.
No doubt.
It's just a completely different team. This is his 7th year of college football.
I know.
And he gets his tight end back. Everybody coming back on that defense for the most part in the front 7. I mean, I have Utah right now getting a top 4 playoff spot because they're going to win the Big 12. I love Cam Rising's game. That's why he's QB1 on the all-Meathead team back-to-back years. I think he was the missing piece last year. They did not get consistent quarterback play. I think Cam Rising gives that to Utah. So
he had pretty good numbers 2 years ago. 65% completion, 3,000 yards, 8 yards per attempt. You need to see that get bumped up a little bit. 26 touchdowns to 8 picks. It's the touchdown to pick ratio's up there with any other the other quarterbacks we just named. I do think he maybe has to get maybe a little more chunky in terms of the big plays if he's going to climb as high on my list. But Cam Rising's in my top 10 for sure.
So the only one that you had Brady Cook, I had Jaylen Daniels. I think that's the only quarterback that we didn't have at least in the list. That was different.
True.
And I love Jaylen Daniels. If he can stay healthy, that's a big question. It's a big question. I mean, because Bean came in last year and played pretty well last 2 years. But Jaylen Daniels has to stay healthy. He can't pull a back muscle filming an NIL commercial.
Yeah, when Jaylen Daniels plays, he is one of the most hyper-efficient, dynamic in terms of running and passing quarterbacks in the entire country. Remember, interestingly enough, in a Big 12 where it probably is the most exciting conference in all of college football because the gap between who's best, it's like the most even. There's the most parity, I would say, in the Big 12. But interestingly enough, remember, FPI actually likes Kansas as the favorite for the Big 12. Now, it's a slight favorite. It's like you play it 10 times, Kansas wins 2, and a bunch of other teams win 1 kind of favorite. But it is a slight favorite. So whatever that's worth. Brent Simino, Rising's a 7-year super senior. Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy.
A lot of injuries. That's why he's QB1 on the all-Meathead team. God does not know how to slide.
Brian says, Bilbo says, Nuss doesn't even started to have a season, so why would he be on a top QB list? Again, I get what JD's getting at. He's saying by the end of the year. And look, when you look at Nuss's sample size, it's very good. And so is Iamaliavas in terms of doing it against that Iowa defense in the bowl game. It's a damn good Iowa defense that he had a very good game against. So, by the end of the year, I don't think these are crazy takes. It's just that I do kind of agree with Jake that I still think it's a lot to ask the first-year starter to stack up against some of these more experienced options that you have to put on this list.
Yeah, this is heading into the season. By the middle of the season, you ask us our top 10, we're going to have a completely different list. And I would expect both those players to be on the list in the middle of the season, but heading into
so you
the
would?
season.
See, I don't know if I would. I kind of made my list based on like where I think everything could end.
Now mine's going into the season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you would have Iamaliava
I would think
if you were
so.
doing an end of the season list.
I think with the talent that they have and what I'm expecting them to do, yes.
Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.